And now, more You Talk Now.
Hey guys, it's Steve. Hey Katie.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how about you?
Good.
Our special guest for the show today, she's with an organization called Miracle Messages, and this is an organization that helps those experiencing homelessness to connect with their loved ones through phone calls and text messages. Does that sound a little familiar to you?
Yeah, it's kind of fun to have them on tonight because 2 years ago today was our Rocking Red event in LA for the homeless teens there. And Miracle Messages was actually there providing phone calls to the teens who were there to call their loved ones.
I don't know if there was some video calls, or I know it's text messages, it's phone calls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a great organization, great people to work with. In fact, I think we had them for a couple of years. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we were not able to do that event again this year, but we are hoping to do something in 2021. In fact, we've got interest from a couple different cities. So I don't know, we may have to go with a simulcast or something. So,
yeah, for sure.
But it's a great event, and it's specifically targeting homeless teens and young adults who are dealing with housing instability. And that's what our guest is going to talk about tonight, how they, with Miracle Messages, help those who are struggling to be able to be connected again. So our guest is Emily Reynolds, and we are going to have her join us in just a moment. So, Katie, I guess we'll say goodbye to you for now.
And I'll in the comments.
All right, thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye. There she is.
Yeah.
Hey, great to see you. Thanks for taking time.
Yeah, of course.
Where are you located?
I'm in Southern California, on the edge of LA County.
Oh, all right. Well, then we're not far because we're in the IE out here in not far from the Ontario airport. So, yeah, right up against the hills. Miracle Messages. How long have you been an intern with them?
I started in about July.
Yeah, so not
months.
long then. And what an interesting time to join in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy right now.
Oh, I'll bet.
Different.
We got to talk about that a little bit later. How did you connect with Miracle Messages?
It was pretty random. I saw a post from them. My friend shared it on his Instagram story. Who's actually an intern there this summer.
Oh, cool.
And so found their Instagram page. I thought it was really interesting and a really cool way to go about taking care of the homeless problem, taking care of those people, our unhoused neighbors around us. So, yeah.
And it's getting worse. It's especially, well, I was going to say just especially Southern California, but it's everywhere.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Many major cities. I was in the Phoenix area recently, and I had no idea how the homeless problem had grown, how we have so many neighbors, I like the way you guys say that, who are struggling with housing instability and not having a place. So you just felt like, hey, this is something that I can be a part of. It looks interesting to me. What is the heartbeat of Miracle Messages? What's at the very core?
So basically the goal of Miracle Messages is to reconnect people experiencing homelessness with their loved ones. And the idea of this is to end relational poverty, which is just like the absence of a social support system.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the goal, the heartbeat is just to connect people with others, specifically their loved ones, just because it's someone who already loves them, someone they're comfortable with. Yeah, and it's just there to bring that support around them and show them that they're meaningful and they're valued and that they're seen by other people.
I love the concept of relational poverty. I don't like the fact that it's happening, but the concept of being able to explain it, because we don't often think about it that way. And as you just said, it's connecting people not only with their loved ones, but in a sense, a community of sorts. And you said, that they know that they matter to somebody, that there's a purpose. And I've walked among the homeless in LA and chatted with them on different levels and all. And that's what a great thing to be able to do. To be able to connect in that way. So explain to our audience, I kind of mentioned the idea with Katie about, we were talking about the calls and text messages. So how do you connect? You obviously have you have interns in different parts of the country, correct?
Mm-hmm. In other countries too, yeah.
Other countries too. What other countries, by the way?
There's one intern from Brazil, and then we have another intern who is from Canada. She's doing a school where she kind of goes to a different country every semester, and that's really cool. But she is from Canada.
Oh, that's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize you guys are now international, but I mean, it's such a needed thing. It's such an important thing. We had such a great time. You weren't with the organization at the time, but we had a great time working with you guys in Southern California. We want to continue to do it. And well, first of all, what do you do with the organization? Let's start there.
I'm on the operations team, which is basically just Madeline. She's the operations manager. And the biggest thing that she does is Miracle Friends. So I'm just kind of her little helper. I help with anything that she needs, and also just work on bigger projects that Miracle Messages has.
Sounds like it's keeping you busy and a lot to do.
Yeah, it can be sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I know from our perspective about what's going on. And it's interesting because I'm guessing you guys have experienced the same thing. The pandemic, we are doing more and working harder, I think, in the midst of COVID-19 than we were before. And not that we weren't doing other things. Of course, we were traveling and things like that. But it's created so many more issues and actually opened up more doors. How does this work then? How does Miracle Messages connect with somebody, a neighbor, as you say, who has the housing instability, who's experiencing relational poverty? Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
How do you guys connect with them?
We have a hotline, 1-800-MISS-YOU, and sometimes people call that if they want to have us try to find their loved ones. Or we also have flyers and stuff like that up in hotels, because a lot of people who are experiencing homelessness are in hotels right now because of COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have flyers and just kind of word of mouth a little bit, or if they happen to get on the internet and see it, they can also connect through there.
Okay, so it's really kind of it's more than just random. You're putting the word out there, and we're hoping, by the way, having you on U Talk will put the word out there a little bit more as well. So they can call that number 1-800-MISS-YOU. Yeah. They can find you online. They can find you on posters or word of mouth or whatever. So basically, they have to find, in a sense, they have to hear about you and connect with you. So then what's the next step after that? They connect with you, what do you do next? We
talk about who they want to search for and get all the information that we need, all the information that we can get from them, and then we connect it with one of our digital detectives of one of our volunteers, and they'll begin searching for their loved ones and trying to get their message to them. They'll either record an audio, video, or just a text message, and then they'll send it to their loved ones, and they find them.
Okay, so you do the video. I thought you did when we were working with you guys at Rock and Red. I thought there was a video aspect to it. So then the message is recorded somehow. And also, you mentioned something, and I want to make sure our audience caught this, is this person who's struggling, without a home, connects with you guys, and then they give some kind of a description. I want to reach out to my mom, my dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, whoever it is in this particular city. And then you have volunteers that research that and are able to make that connection, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so cool. That really is. Now, is there a way then for, let's say I'm one of those people, and I get the information, I connect with you guys, give you the information, a message is sent to this loved one of mine. Can they contact me back through Miracle Messages?
We don't usually give the loved one's information to the person who's experiencing homelessness. We don't give them that information because we need their permission. So usually we'll help to kind of be the middleman between them and kind of help to connect them and be on the line if they're doing a phone call. And then we can also send the person's phone number who is our unhoused neighbor. We can send it to their loved one, depending on what they're wanting out of the reunion.
Okay, now you said sending their loved one their phone number, so through you guys. So it's okay, so they could reach through you guys to them then.
Yeah, some of them do have phones. Some of them do use phones through the hotels that they're at. And then Verizon did donate a bunch of phones for us to use or to give to our unhoused neighbors to use.
I thought so. I thought something was happening like that because I know there's a program, I think there's a national program, and maybe Verizon is part of this, where you can, I think, apply to get a phone because it's a lifeline. It's a connection not only to loved ones, to people that you care about and care about you, but also to try to get medical help or get a job or, any number of things. It's amazing what we can have in our hands, that can connect us with anybody at any time. So that's cool that they donated to you. Now, what's website in case somebody says, hey, I want to find out more about this?
miraclemessages.org.
Okay, we'll make sure that gets in our blog for this show and everything, but miraclemessages.org. I encourage you to check it out. What are some of the projects that you personally have been involved in since July? So, about 6 months or so.
I think the biggest thing that I've worked on is our Good Neighbor Award Show, which is just a little award show over Zoom this year to just kind of honor those who have put work into Miracle Messages and have volunteered their time and just shown what it's like to be a servant to these people. And so we just wanted to honor them, and we put on a little event for them and had some stories told. And it was a really nice time. So I helped plan.
Oh, that's very cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming it was virtual this year.
It was on Zoom. But this was their second year, and so last year they did it in person. Okay.
Where was it? Was it up in San Fran where your headquarters is? Okay. That's an awesome thing to do. And you mentioned servant, the way they're serving. And it really is, it's a lot of volunteers, is it not? And interns with Miracle Messages that make this thing happen. It's not like this huge organization with hundreds of thousands of staff people and that kind of thing. It's really volunteer driven, is it not?
It is, yeah, definitely is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Go back to this award show. Can you remember any of the stories that were shared? I'm real curious about that because there's got to be some incredible things that happen when the connection is made. And do you remember any of them you could share?
I do remember one. I don't really know the specifics of it, a lot of the specifics, but I know that so there's this man, I can't remember his name, but he reached out to us and we found his loved one and they connected. And then his loved one wanted him to come home so that he could stay with them and have a place to live. So he got a bus ticket to go home, but then he apparently got off and they couldn't find him. They didn't know where he was. So we had someone come down to LA that was in the area, just drive around, try to find him, went to a hospital and found him there, and then hung out with him to get him onto the bus to go home. And then at the award show, they were together. Video, that's and it was awesome. Really nice, and they were really happy.
Oh, that's nice. That to me, it sounds like that's got to be so rewarding for you guys. I mean, because you're more kind of in that organizational thing, and you're working on these different projects and stuff. Not as much, I would assume, not as much personal contact with those that are struggling with housing. So for you, I would think that those are the kinds of things you want to hear about. And, it's amazing to me that somebody driving around, that obviously they had a description of this man, to be able to drive around and find him and then go to a hospital. And that was still in the midst of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Was this pre-COVID?
Just a couple months ago. No, just a couple months ago, I think.
Wow. Oh, that's so cool. That is so cool. How many connections like this are you guys able to make in a year or a month, whatever it is?
400 connections just last week. So, yeah, that was really huge. We have made 400 connections through our services, and that's just really amazing. That
is very cool. I mean, that really is.
Yeah.
And that was just last week.
Yeah.
Now, will it get more intense? Is it more intense during the holidays, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas, or?
Sometimes. We did have someone who they reached out to us the week of Thanksgiving and wanted to see their son. I can't remember if she was unhoused or if she was looking for her son who's unhoused. But they were able to find them and talk to him on Thanksgiving, which is really sweet.
Oh, that's nice. Now, some people are living in hotels because of COVID. But some people are living on the streets.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can't imagine. I know when we had Rock and Red, one of the things that we made sure you guys were important to have there because we wanted them to, and of course we were targeting young adults and teens, give them the opportunity to connect with someone that they care about and that cares about them. But we also made sure when they left, they all got new shoes, a new jacket, hygiene items, a brand new backpack, a special blanket, which was almost, I call it a space blanket, but it's like if you turn it one way, it keeps the heat out. If you flip it over, it keeps the cold out. But it's hard for some of us to imagine what it's like to be unhoused, living on a street, living in a tent, living in a ravine. I think those in hotels are very fortunate because at least they're out of the elements. It isn't their own home, but it's such an important work that you guys are doing. I'm excited that you're with us. I'm excited you've taken the time. How has COVID directly or indirectly affected the work? Now, I know you came kind of in after COVID had been going for several months, but are you aware of any differences from what it was like pre-COVID to being in the midst of COVID on how you guys operate and how you're able to help others and connect others?
Yeah, so a lot of what some of the people who work with Miracle Messages would do is they would walk around the streets and just connect with people experiencing homelessness, but they're not really able to do that as much anymore. But there are still some people who walk around and talk to people. One of the good things is, though, is that everything is online. So anyone, anywhere can join in, volunteer, meet us, meet what we do, and help us out if they want to, which is a really cool thing now. So that's a good side of COVID.
So there really is a lot of opportunities then for people to be involved no matter where they live and whether they've had experience with this or not. I'm sure that you guys have that process to bring them up to speed. So once again, the website is miraclemessages.org. And where are you on social?
It's Miracle Messages on Instagram and then on Facebook as well.
At the very least, you can Google it, but you certainly can, Facebook, you've got Instagram. And so somebody could, they say, well, I don't have a lot of time, but is there something I could do? Obviously, I guess the idea would be for them to contact you and say, what can I do? What kinds of things are available? It's that kind of a situation, I would assume.
Yeah. There's definitely something for everyone. We have our Miracle Friends program where people connect with someone experiencing homelessness, and they have a phone call every week, and it's just like 10 minutes of a phone call. So if you have 10 minutes once a week, you can definitely help us out.
That is very cool. I didn't realize that. So it's basic. So this unhoused person, either they have a phone that has been provided, or there's a way for them to get to a phone to have that 10-minute conversation then. Yeah, either through a hotel that they're staying in or one that Verizon has donated or that they have themselves. That's awesome. And that's got to be, what a great opportunity. And like you said, 10 minutes. Most of us could sacrifice 10 minutes. We spend a lot of time in front of screens right now, unfortunately, because of COVID. But 10 minutes to change a life.
Sometimes it's longer, though. Sometimes you start talking and it goes longer and longer and you become really good friends. So that's really fun, too. Well, that's a cool thing that happens then. It's if you become good friends like that. And I would assume outside of COVID, there might, even inside COVID, possibly, there's those opportunities to meet face to face then, depending upon proximity of where you are, where they are. Yeah.
So that's awesome. That is a very cool thing. Obviously, we can't cover everything on the show today, how people can get involved. But the best thing to do is reach out to you guys and say, hey, what's there? What can I do? How can I help? Volunteering is such a huge thing right now. Now, we are at UTalk. We're really big on going MAD, which is the acronym for making a difference. Things are real crazy, obviously, right now with COVID, and we can't all do what we'd like to be doing, whether it's personally or whether it's professionally or as a volunteer, as serving somebody else. And I like that concept. Something happens, I think, when we take our eyes off ourselves and we look at somebody else and in this situation and say, we got to do. In fact, I have a friend who is a very successful businessman, and we'll just leave it at that. But he was driving through L.A. one day, and he said, "I don't know what it's like to be homeless. I see these people. They're on the streets, and they're in the ravines and wherever." So he decided he was going to live as a homeless person. I don't recall whether it was for 3 or 4 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. And when that time was up, I mean, here he is living on the streets, and that's something that was very foreign to him, but totally changed his way of thinking, totally changed what he does with his time. And he's invested in really working. He does a series of live stream concert events to raise money for reaching those who are unhoused. Actually provides meals in a lot of situations. But that's obviously an extreme kind of a thing. So he's making a difference. What, as individuals, from your perspective, Emily, since we are big about making a difference, changing the world, what's one thing we can all do individually to make a difference, to change the world, make it a better place?
Yeah, I think individually the biggest thing we can do is just make others feel seen and feel valued, because a lot of people right now, especially those who are unhoused, they kind of feel hidden. They feel like they're in the shadows sometimes. And so just acknowledging them, being their friend, making them know that they're valued and they're seen and they're known and that they have purpose here. And so even it doesn't have to be someone who's unhoused, just kind of anyone, anywhere, just being kind to them, showing them that they're human, they're a person. A lot of people like to look at labels. They like to look at a person and say that they're homeless instead of looking at them and saying that they're a person and that they're human. And so, yeah, just trying to see them for who they are and not for what people say they are.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That is absolutely, I mean, really, that is huge. And I like how you quantified it as well. It's not just somebody who's unhoused. How many people in our neighborhood or in our apartment building or in the condo complex feel unseen? Yeah. Like they don't matter. We as an organization do what we do to help our target, demographic as teens and young adults, to help them know that they matter and to be seen. And sometimes I think you can see it in somebody's eyes if you get close enough to them, in their body language, in an expression. That is so huge, with unhoused and housed people. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking how many people are just within close proximity to me that may be experiencing that. And being human, treating people like a human, because they matter. Each person matters. And to be seen, I mean, that's, for some, I can't totally relate to that because I don't feel that way. And obviously doing what I do and everything, I mean, I'm obviously being seen and being heard and all, but to know that you're being seen and that you're being valued, that's huge. Again, how many people out there don't feel valued and don't feel seen? There's way too many. And, calls to suicide hotlines are up in a crazy manner during COVID. The suicide rate is roughly the same, but how many people feel like it wouldn't matter if I was here or not? And somebody just made a comment saying love and respect, and that's what we're doing when we're helping somebody. When we're loving somebody and respecting them, we're helping them to feel seen and we're helping them to feel valued. And I know I speak in, a lot of school assemblies, and it's so rewarding to me when a student comes up afterwards and goes, "Russo, man, I feel like I matter. I feel like I'm worth something." And we may not hear those words when we're helping somebody to feel human. And that's so needed in our culture today, to feel human, to feel valued. That's huge. And to feel seen. Great word. Thank you. I mean, that's awesome. We're going to incorporate that some way, somehow, because I want to encourage people that are with us right now and that will see this or hear this later. Really think about that. And it doesn't mean you have to go out and change the whole city or, your whole campus or whatever, but just one and one and one, just going out there and saying, and like you said, it's not judging them. It's not looking at somebody and, oh, they're homeless or, oh, they seem to have struggles or whatever. It's just saying, yeah, that's another human. That's another human, and I said this to somebody at a protest that was in our community not far from our office. And I said, if we cut our arms, our blood's the same color. Our skin may be a different color. I may live in a house. You may be unhoused, whatever it happens to be. But we're all human. And if we could just grasp that, that's such a huge message. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's going to be a key takeaway from the show today, that people are going to connect with miracle messages. Once again, how can people stay in touch with what is going on with Miracle Messages?
You can either follow us on Instagram at Miracle Messages or follow us on Facebook, or you can check out the website miraclemessages.org and just kind of check out all the things we offer and how you can get involved in many different ways.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say, we want you guys to get involved, that are with us and hearing this and seeing this, the show, because let's work together to make a difference. I'm looking forward to being able to do some more with Miracle Messages in the future as we are able to do events, to be able to work together to make a difference, making people feel human, making people feel, and making is probably not the best word, but helping, I guess, helping people to feel human, helping people to know that they're seen, and helping people to know that they are valued. What a huge message. We got to make people, enable them to feel that way. Anything else that you'd like to leave us with, Emily, as we bring the show to a close? Yeah, just be kind to others, because kindness is the best way to show them who they are. And there's nothing better than just sharing a nice conversation with someone and seeing who the person is there and not just their labels, Thanks. Great word. Yeah. And thanks for taking time to have a conversation with us tonight. This is great.
Thank you for having
me.
We
appreciate it. Oh, no, it's our pleasure. And we look forward to more connections, possibly with you, but certainly with Miracle Messages. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Emily.
Bye.
This is U Talk Radio.